Well, you'll be saving the ocean.
Now I know you're asking yourself, how can conserving water save the ocean? Let's hear from one of our water conservation experts, Dr. H2L.
Well, here's a diagram of the water cycle. First area is evaporation. When the water is picked up and brought up and forms the clouds, which is condensation. When it moves over, it rains or snows. The water sinks down into the ground and forms a collection or underground water, an aquifer. Some of the water goes as runoff and goes into another body of water. This process goes around and around again. Water conservation is important to the water cycle because less of the groundwater is being removed from the aquifers, which means less of the water is being treated and released from the sewage plants. This water is released into oceans, rivers, and streams. This water is also treated with chemicals. These chemicals make their way to the ocean. Any chemicals that make their way from treatment plants or rainwater runoff may damage the environment.
Thanks, Dr. H2L.
Now let's hear from our likely team from Elm Street Middle School, the Sea Urchins, who try to save money and conserve water for their school.
After learning about the water cycle, we decided that conserving water at our own school is important enough to do something about.
Our coach donated 2 different aerators for us to experiment with. The first aerator we tested was a 2.0 GPM rated aerator, and we calculated that it only produced 1.6 GPM.
The next one we tested rated at 1.5 GPM, but when we tested it, it only produced 1.04 GPM. The third one we tested at 0.7 GPM, but when we tested it, it only tested at 0.5 GPM.
After calculating based on the number of school days each year and the number of students that could use the sinks each day, we discovered that if we used the 0.7 GPM rated aerators, we could save the school up to 130,000 gallons of water. That could save the school up to $300 each year.
We put together a chart that shows all our experiments calculations. Then we decided to ask our school principal, Miss Karen, about changing the aerators in our school. She asked the school district if we could, and then we got the okay to make the changes.
As a team, we visited Home Depot to see if they would be willing to help us out with our project, but it didn't work out. So we decided to write to Danco, the maker of the aerators. They replied the very next day and said that they would be happy to help us out with our project.
We checked to see.
We're very grateful for Danco for donating 36 aerators. We received 18 1.5 GPM aerators and 18.5 GPM aerators.
We checked to see if the aerators fit the bathrooms outside our school cafeteria, but they were too small, so we asked our principal's permission if we could change aerators in other bathrooms in and around our school.
To help inform other students and people in our community, we discovered that if we hung posters around the school to inform people how they could conserve water at home.
We recommend that you do what you can to save money and water too. Remember that when you're conserving water, you're helping to save the environment. At home, we've been trying to do what we can to save money and water too.
At my house, I changed all the aerators on the faucets.
I take shorter showers.
I turn the water off when I brush my teeth.
I wait until the dishwasher is full before I start it up.
Is it true you guys have to penetrate water so how much water people use?
Yes, it is. We discovered that water goes through a more complicated process than we thought. First is coagulation, where flock particles are bound together using a polymer. Second is clarification, where flock particles are removed. Third is filtration, where smaller particles are removed. And fourth is disinfection with chlorine.
Nashville normally uses 10 million gallons of water per day this time of year, but during the summer we use 25 million gallons of water per year, mostly because of watering lawns.
Think about how much water and money you could save just by conserving water in your home.
Absolutely.
What a great endorsement for our aerators. You too can go on conserving water efforts. You can find low-flow aerators at any home improvement store on the web. Any little bit of water you save can go a long way in preserving rivers, lakes, and oceans, and any little animal that depends on them.
Thanks again to Dr. H2L and Team 1439, the Sea Urchins, for their help with today's presentation. That's all, folks. Thanks again, and see you next summer in your neighborhood home center. Goodbye.